Alright, hi guys, I'm gonna be continuing from where I left off in my last video, alright? Thanks. Honey, he left that the day after you left. I thought you were getting the abortion and he would never need to know. You would come home and find it, but you never came back till now. And I knew it was just going to make you more dependent on him, and you needed to grow up a little, for the baby's sake. I knew she was right, but I wouldn't admit it. Whatever, I'll be back, I said, walking out of the house swiftly, getting in my car and pulling it out the driveway. And was feeling nervous. He had no clue what was coming. It had been forever since I had last seen him, and my belly was like popping out. I slowly got out of the car and walked with my head down to their house. I stood at the edge of the driveway for a couple of moments, considering what I was about to do. I knew it was the right thing to do. I got to the door and rang the doorbell. Alan's younger brother, Jake, came to the door, and he looked up at me the same way my dad had done. "Hey, Jake, is Alan home?" I asked, and he looked up at me. "Jamie!" he yelled, and sprang at me, giving me a bear hug. He was 13 now, and turned into a fine young man. I hugged him back, and when he released me, he ran inside, and I stood waiting for a moment, waiting for the moment to happen when Alan walked out here and slammed the door in my face. I turned to look at the road and ended up looking at the stars. How they shone in the sky. It was quite breathtaking. I heard steps behind me and I didn't turn. I couldn't face it. I couldn't face him. If I did, he would see my stomach and know right away. "Jamie, is it really you? Are you back?" he asked, breaking the silence. I took a step in silence. I took a breath and answered him. "Yeah, I'm back, and I have some news." "What?" Just the sound of his voice made my eyes tear up. I could hear him coming closer, and I didn't want to, and I did what I was most afraid of. I turned around to see the most beautiful eyes that I had missed so dearly, but in the eyes his look of longing and compassion turned to confusion. "You're pregnant? Really pregnant?" he said, obviously not putting the pieces together yet. "Wait a minute, Jamie. Who's the father?" Next page. Bingo! I knew he'd figure it out. "You are," I said, as a tear ran down my face. He stepped closer to me. "Why didn't you tell me? I mean holy Jamie, okay? Come on inside. You must be freezing." Now that I think about it, it was pretty cold out, and am pregnant, so yeah, I should go in. His house was the same. I knew my way around. His parents were in the kitchen, and we snuck up to his room. "Alan, I'm sorry," I said, breaking down into sobs, and he came and sat next to me, and pulled me into his chest and comforted me. I loved him. I can't believe he really didn't want me back, and he really did want me back, and I left. God, I know my mom was right, but it would have been so much more easier if I hadn't left and just told him the night that he brought over the note. When I stopped crying, I sat back up. "Well, I guess you deserve an explanation." He didn't say anything, so I continued. "Well, after I explained why I left, and how my mom didn't tell me about the note, and where I was living, and what had happened, and somewhere during me telling him, he started tearing up, and I had never seen him cry before. I comforted him and told him it would all be okay. I had money and I was taking care of it. He just sat there and looked at me for a while. Then he did something I was not expecting at all. He leaned over, and our faces were inches apart, and all I had to do was lean into it. So I did. And when our lips met, the world started spinning around me and slowly disappeared. All I could think about was Alan, and our baby, and our family back together again. It was magic, all of it. The baby kicked, and Alan huffed. It had got him right in the chest. Yeah, I should warn you, he's a kicker. Boy, you're having a baby boy? Alright guys, that's basically, I think, the end of the first chapter. Alright, so I'll post the second chapter soon. Alright, thanks.